What were the reasons for population growth during the 18th century in Europe? Today, my team is here to answer that question and to inform you about the population explosion in Europe during the 18th century. The 18th century was the beginning of the population explosion, affecting the existing order of life and forced economic changes. Explosive growth continued in Europe until the 20th century, by which time it was affecting non-Western areas of the globe. This graph shows us the rapid population growth in Europe. We can see throughout the years that population fluctuated, but was always rising. So what caused the growth of population? And what did the challenge of more mouths to feed and more hands to employ do to the European economy? But most importantly, what were the reasons for population growth during the 18th century in Europe?
There are many reasons that limited the population growth during the 1700s and before. It mainly started with famine. Without industrial and agricultural revolutions, there was only a certain amount of food to go around Europe. Not having the advancements from these revolutions, people that were poor couldn't get much food, and when they did, they ate a little amounts of it to save it. Without much food and nutrients going into the body, the immune system would start to shut down and wouldn't be able to defend against disease. This would lead to disease like the Black Plague and just the common cold. These diseases would get someone sick, and because their immune systems aren't able to defeat the disease, they would kill them. Another limitation on population growth was war. War would kill off a lot of people who are fighting. Also, you have to fight the war somewhere. The people who are in the middle of the war and are living in the land that are being fought over can easily die and be shot or killed. People are also killed during wars if you don't pick the right side or don't pick a side at all.
The population explosion was caused by a series of advancements that combined to better living conditions and allowed human civilizations in Europe to flourish through the early 18th century and into the 20th century. Agriculture was made more efficient by the combination of small farms into other massive farms and used improved technology to produce and harvest crops easier. In addition, famine was reduced through improvements of transportation. Roads and canals were constructed, which meant that if there was a crop failure in one area but success in another, the two groups could share and produce much easier. Aside from improvements in food production, the increase of medication and sanitation helped to save lives. The mysterious disappearance of the Black Plague and cure for smallpox reduced death rate, and public health increased by improvements of water supply and sewerage. Lastly, population increased because women in Europe had more children because new opportunities for employment in rural industry allowed them to marry at an early age.